everyone. You're watching Barnstable this morning. Joining me now is Kris Clark. Kris is the chair of the Land Acquisition and Preservation Committee. Thank you so much for sitting down with me today.
Thanks for having me.
I've really enjoyed talking to each board, committee, and commission chair. So excited to talk to you. It really does interest me what these volunteer boards do and how they serve the town. Tell me a little bit about the Land Acquisition and Preservation Committee.
Thank you. The Land Acquisition and Preservation Committee was initiated by the Town Council in 2005, and under the our charge included that we recommend parcels to the Community Preservation Committee for open space. We review conservation restrictions. We keep the open space and recreation plan current and updated, and actually last night's meeting we were already working on the next version of that, the update for that. We're responsible for implementing the approved Cape Cod Pathways Plan, and a member of our committee serves as the Town of Barnstable's representative on the Santuit Preserve Management Committee, joined by a rep from Mashpee and one from the state. Those are the three entities that helped purchase that property. Essentially that's what we do, and we meet once a month to go over these, update these tasks as they come. And some things like conservation restrictions have some time sensitivity to it. So when there's a proposal, it comes to us for evaluation and review, and we make a recommendation to the Town Council.
It sounds like some of the issues that come before your committee may come before other committees as well. Does that mean that sometimes you work with another committee throughout the year?
We don't as much as perhaps we could, and we're moving towards that a little more. For example, when we have the conservation restriction review, we review it and send a recommendation to the Town Council, but the Conservation Commission also reviews it and makes a separate recommendation. So sometimes because of the time constraints, the presentations are made to each committee separately, since both groups meet at different intervals, and the time frame for which it needs to have recommendations to the Town Council also kind of don't always sync.
Right. Some of the interesting things that you guys have worked on and evaluated over the past year really that stick out to me. One, the Corkage property. Talk to me a little bit about that, going through. How does that sort of project move through your committee?
Well, it was initiated through the Barnstable Land Trust, and there were, like most conservation restrictions or land preservation initiatives, a lot of it has to do with the circumstances at the time and how it changes over time. It turns out that personal circumstances for Mr. Corkage had changed, and it made for different circumstance that caused this proposal to emerge pretty quickly. So whereas something had been on a wish list and had languished for a while, then all of a sudden it was had accelerated interest. So what happened is a presentation was made to our committee. We evaluated it. It was then passed on to the Town Council and approved, happy to say.
What wonderful. So important. And some other things that you work on as a committee. You do a lot with the Cape Cod Pathways. Talk to me about the committee's involvement in the Cape Cod Pathways.
Thanks for asking that. Actually, the Corkage property plays right into that, because one of our past walks was right through that property, as it is a connector to other protected properties. So the pathway is a component of a program that was initiated by the Cape Cod Commission, and it's kind of a tip-to-tail path going from the bridges at the in Bourne or from Sandwich to Provincetown, with a lot of offshoots from that main artery of the path. So our obligation is to help promote and maintain the path from the Sandwich border to the Yarmouth border. And I give credit primarily to one of our members, Tom Mullen, who used to be a Town of Barnstable employee, but he has been very faithful with, first of all, he helped carve out the path. He and Will Mason designed the pathway, and has since been maintaining it, including hand making some of the kiosks with maps that says you are here and guidance along the way in the woods. But with especially some winters when we've had a lot of snow and tree damage, then there's maintenance of the trail to continue keeping it free flowing.
What an amazing resource for all Barnstable residents to have these areas to walk in, and it just really speaks to me that someone is taking their volunteer time to go out and do this, but also to serve on a committee like yours. All of the members of your committee are volunteers, and they aren't paid for their work, but they are dedicated to the town. What do you think led you to be involved with this committee?
Well, I have had interest in open space. I know that when it comes to land, we don't make more of it. So the open space provides solace and exercise and inspiration. So it serves our citizenry on many levels. But it is the areas like the pathways that are cobbled together. Some of it is town-owned property, some of it is land preserved by the state, some of it is land that's preserved by the Barnstable Land Trust or other entities. Some of it is land that is owned, is protected outright in ownership and fee. Some of it has a conservation restriction or an easement. So there are different ways of providing public access to this open space. And part of it, the challenge is to try to wend through the creative ways. And hats off to the property owners who usually are willing to give up their land at a bargain price or sometimes donate it for the benefit of others and future generations.
Yeah, they're also interested in keeping that land preserved as it is. So
yep, they know
really
the value.
A cool program to see that happening. Anything you think that's really big on the horizon that the committee will be focused on in the future?
Well, one initiative we've made that is one of the action items in the town's open space and recreation plan is to try to be a little proactive and identify key parcels that we should target for acquisition as opposed to waiting for a project to come to us for review. And one of the most important areas for preserving land is protecting land that provides protection for municipal water supplies. So we have, it's been over 2 years, we've been visiting each of the water districts and speaking with the elected officials there to try to tease out candidate parcels to consider for open space. We started doing this in 2012 alphabetically, starting with Barnstable, and when we presented it to the Community Preservation Committee, we were asked to wait and finish doing the whole town so that we can present it as a package. So we are coming close to finishing both the list submitted by the village of Cotuit and West Barnstable. And after that, then we expect to present it to the CPC for consideration.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for filling us in on all of the great work that the Land Acquisition and Preservation Committee is doing. We really appreciate it and hope to have you back to continue the discussion.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Kris Clark is the chair of the Land Acquisition and Preservation Committee. For Barnstable This Morning, I'm Sarah Mann.